I cannot believe that my friend Jerry Ward is no longer with us. I've been talking to Jerry for probably like the last 7 or 8 years actively. Always go on his lives, and he always says, "Hey Christian, what's up?" And we have talked for years on social media, and for like 2 to 3 years, two years, I would say, with about maybe in Baltimore 3, and then various parts of Pennsylvania and elsewhere, maybe 10 shows, 20 shows we worked together, and countless lives, countless DM voice audios back and forth, because always with Jerry and PJ, I would always do voice audios. And I cannot believe that he's gone. I don't know what the cause of death is or was. I saw Mark's video. He did a heck of a good job. And it's crazy because, I know he was doing movies with Rich Siegelman. I know that he was judging with the NPC, which made him very happy. I know he was really very happy, very busy with his company, with his supplements company. And I know that he always did personal training. And I know that he, his wife, he would always tell me his wife would work and by the way, my condolences, which he would say she would work like 36 hours straight and wouldn't take like even look at a stimulant, like coffee or energy drinks or Red Bull or whatever. And he was very, very proud of the work that she did, and especially at those shows on the East Coast, he would always tell me, "My gosh, Erin is such a hard worker," and she's just just really in love with his wife, which is really cool. Just a really real guy, and somebody who also fellow Team Titan member, StrengthAddicts sponsored by Titan Medical, Jerry sponsored by Titan Medical, and not a shill, you know what I mean? Not a shill. Jerry didn't have 30 sponsors. He had very few sponsors, and he believed in those sponsors, and they believed in him, like Titan. And let's not even address the knowledge that he had, when it comes to not just, PEDs, but amino acids and essential amino acids. That was the source of one of the biggest rifts in the YouTube fitness world or whatnot, and Jerry was a part of it. Two very, very learned scientific gurus, just with different opinions, and I'm talking about Jerry, I'm talking about Mark. And but he knew about his meal prep sponsor. Their name escapes me right now, but he was really big into them. I have it at the tip of my tongue, but I want to make sure it starts with an N, but I don't want to say the wrong name. But he was just militant about them and militant about nutrition, and how the macronutrients work and how it's important to everything you often hear, but he really lived it, The fitness lifestyle was very, very much on point with him, especially at these shows. There's a lot of bad food around you at these shows, and he was always very, very keen on eating the right foods. And so at first, I'll be honest with you, I thought Mark and Jerry were back at it again, maybe another feud or something, and I thought he was saying, goodbye Jerry, goodbye, I'm not going to talk to you for a while. But then my phone died. I'm out here in Appalachia right now. I'm in southeastern Kentucky. And so I don't even know when this video is going to go up, because I barely have enough signal to get my GPS working. So I saw this video and it said, "Goodbye Jerry Ward" from Mark Lobliner, and then my phone died. And so for the better part of 5 minutes, and it's not that my phone died, the signal died. There's no more signal. And my phone was fine. It's plugged into the car. And for 5 minutes, I was like, "Man, Mark, if that's another feud, man, that's a really bad time." I was going to tell him, I was annoyed. I was going to say, "Mark, this is not a good title. People are going to think you're saying that Jerry died," and sure enough, when the phone turned on, or the signal came back on, I found Mark's video, And sure enough, Jerry had passed, and I wanted to be upset with Mark because I knew there was that chance that Jerry had passed. I would rather be upset with Mark than think that Jerry passed. But of course, Jerry passed, and Mark would never make a video like that because of the fact that the title would suggest that someone died. But you just want to think anything but that fact, when you see it. And I mean, Jerry was jacked, guys. I mean, Jerry was legit jacked. Not like a lot of people that wear 2 sizes too small shirts on social media. No. Jerry was jacked, okay? He's a fucking bull. Excuse me for cursing. And he was happy. He was judging, big with his company. I mean, working with Titan. I mean, he was like on his game. So I don't know what happened, but I will definitely miss Jerry. And I would always go on his lives and he'd be like, "Hey Christian, what's up?" And it's just like his voice. It's like, even when he says, "Hey Christian, what's up?" Like I hear his voice, and guys, those lives were great. I mean, like almost like every day he would spend like, and of course I'm going to write an article for Iron Magazine as well, which goes without saying, but I guess I have to say it, but I want to do it. But I mean, he would get on those lives like all the time, and half the people on there, we're never going to buy his supplements or hire him for coaching. But he loved it. He loved it, and you just, that's what I think a lot of people are going to miss. They're going to miss the fact that he loved the fans. He loved like all of us. The fact he wasn't a shill. And the fact that he wasn't afraid to disagree like he did with Mark, that he wasn't afraid to mend fences like he did with Mark, that he was not going to hold back, even when they wouldn't let him see, I believe it was his dad, who was very ill, or his mom. I right now I don't, but because of his stances on certain issues that we're not going to discuss here because we don't want to lose our accounts or whatever, but he was very committed. And even when it looked like, what he wanted, the visitation was not going to happen, he did not fold. He still held out as a principled person. And that ended up being that he could actually see the person without having to undergo this process that he didn't want to undergo forcibly. And but he stuck to his guns, So, and he was a Mason. And he was very, very proud of that. And we had a few conversations about that in DM with the voice text back and forth. And I finally got his number like 2 years ago because he would not do the phone number. He would, I think, I don't know what it was, but he would call me blocked or something like that. He was just very private. And when I finally, 2 years before that, he added me on Facebook. So that was like a big deal for me because he long hit that 5,000. So you'd have to almost cut friends to be able to get enough spots to add people like me, and he did. And then 2 years after that, he finally gave me his number. He's like, "Oh, I don't mind if you have my number. Yeah, save it for sure." And I was like, "Bro, you always call me from a blocked number." But that's because I was getting closer, and then seeing me cover the shows and interacting those 20 shows. It was me, him, and 2 other gentlemen, and that were kind of press, kind of judges, kind of something. But Jerry just got into it. He just took a dive into it, and he just moved up the testing ranks very quickly. And I believe if he had obviously lived a little longer, I feel he would have probably had some MPC position, definitely, without a doubt, whether chair, assistant chair, something, because he was really well liked, hard worker, accomplished person, not needing to ride the coattails of his own chairs or Jim or Tyler or whatever, had his own popularity in the industry. So I feel they definitely would have said, "We need you." They'd have tapped his shoulder. Real, just class act, kind of like a Mel Chancey. Honestly, that's who I would. That's where I think Jerry's stock was in or at or whatever, where Mel's is at. Mel's is it's a good stock to have in the MPC. But so just coming up here on the 10-minute mark, I just want to say, definitely will miss Jerry, and my condolences to Aaron and to his family, to his friends, real close friends like Mark Lobliner. Believe you me, that's a real close friend of Jerry's. I send to them my condolences, and to all of us, the fans, of course, condolences as well, because I know that you guys will miss him as I will. So rest in peace, Jerry.